But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with it. And the reason they felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit this last week.
What happens when Charlie Kirk hits The View with a $100 million lawsuit and Sunny Hostin starts losing control live on national television? You don't get a debate. You get a daytime drama with courtroom suspense, live breakdowns, surprise comedy, and a pile of subpoenas, all rolled into one chaotic spectacle. As Sunny begins to unravel on air, Whoopi throws glances sharp enough to slice tension in half. Meanwhile, Charlie paints himself as the real target of harsh commentary. And the audience? They're just trying to figure out who's yelling, who's tearing up, and who's lawyering up. Spoiler alert, it's not the legal team cracking under pressure first.
Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept The View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to...
Now let's dive into that headline-grabbing $100 million lawsuit. Yes, 100 million. That number's so over the top, it barely feels like a real legal case. It feels more like Charlie's pitching a blockbuster sequel to his own public persona. Think private island guarded by red hat parrots, a roller coaster in the shape of his Twitter handle, and a gold-plated jet on standby in case the drama goes global. But this isn't just a lawsuit, it's a performance. A bold move, a media spectacle built to shake daytime TV to its foundation. And clearly, it's doing exactly that. When someone drops a number that is outrageous, you're not just watching legal action. You're witnessing a publicity stunt big enough to trend for weeks, and The View is squarely in the middle of it. Because let's be honest, The View, that whirlwind of opinions packaged as a talk show, has become less about meaningful discussion and more about high-speed emotional reactions. It's like a live debate that's had 3 cups of espresso. Too many. Nuance? Forget it. If someone dares offer a different take, it's treated like a 5-alarm emergency. Instead of thoughtful dialogue, it's become a theatrical showcase, where celebrity chatter gets dressed up as serious commentary, and political debates spiral into personal feuds. Every host competes to sigh louder, glare harder, and spark the next viral moment. It's not a panel. It's daytime drama disguised as conversation.
Disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice.
Picture. A table full of self-proclaimed experts who treat eye rolls like evidence and sarcasm like strategy. Their version of debate? A constant flurry of side eyes, slow claps, and dramatic gasps louder than any real facts. It's like watching a live meme, only somehow less informative. And for years, this echo chamber kept spinning, selling overreactions as truth. But now someone finally called their bluff. That someone? Charlie Kirk. He didn't just critique from the sidelines, he stepped right into the chaos, stared it down, and dropped a $100 million legal. But here's the twist. This isn't just about money. It's not just paperwork. This lawsuit is a full volume enough already, directed squarely at the media circus. Kirk isn't just suing The View, he's challenging an entire system of exaggerated outrage, smug commentary, and performative wisdom. He's not picking a fight with TV hosts. He's pulling the plug on a megaphone of media noise. It's as if he grabbed the mic mid-outburst and said, "Time to tone it down."
Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever they teach. But I said this to our team. I said working people, the muscular class, including working women, they are so in favor of Trump, and they don't want to be called stupid or
This lawsuit feels less like a legal claim and more like a cultural wake-up call. Because what The View has turned into isn't just irritating, it's reckless. It's a space where yelling gets mistaken for intelligence. And every theatrical gasp is treated like a breaking policy argument. And that $100 million figure, it's not about ego, it's a spotlight on how far daytime media has strayed. Kirk's message is clear. You don't get to spread half-truths, dismiss real dialogue, and still call it journalism. He's aiming at the very heart of an industry that thrives on viral outrage and shallow hot takes. Sure, it might look dramatic, but sometimes it takes a bold move to stop the spin. Because let's face it, The View doesn't feel like a talk show anymore. It's a midday spectacle, a carousel of recycled drama, flashy soundbites, and half-baked opinions served as hard truths. And at the center of this made-for-TV mayhem, Sunny Hostin.
Conference. These were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs, and
I think it's important that every single person that attended that turning point, every Republican speak up against the SWAT, against the flags that were waved.
You let them in.
President, open your
You let them in and you knew what they were.
Right.
So you are.
Once known for her courtroom expertise, Sunny has traded legal arguments for camera-ready theatrics. These days, she flashes that law degree like a trendy prop, tossing around legal terms like influencer skincare tips, served with a coffee mug and a wink for the cameras. But now the spotlight's turned and irony is catching up fast. Because Sunny's not just part of the show anymore, she's caught in an actual legal storm. And this time, dramatic pauses won't help. This isn't about silencing voices. It's not about targeting strong women. It's about accountability. Just because it airs at noon doesn't mean it's immune from real consequences. Daytime. TV often hides behind freedom of speech, but when that speech turns into character attacks dressed up as commentary, don't be surprised when the legal system calls them out. This lawsuit? It's not a publicity gimmick. It's a mirror being held up to over a decade of unchecked noise. For too long, The View has acted like an elite open mic night where louder means smarter, and dissent is drowned out by faux empowerment. They've called it bold, but it's been theater, plain and simple. Nothing's been off limits, until now.
With a shocking apology just a short time ago from the ladies of The View to Turning Point USA. A war of words broke out after the conservative group was rallying the next generation of voters at its youth summit in Tampa, Florida this weekend. And the liberal panel just couldn't help themselves. The group sent a scathing cease and desist letter after hosts on The View suggested that Turning Point had embraced neo-Nazis who showed up outside.
Charlie Kirk's move is simple. End the performance, face the facts. After years of verbal hit and runs, someone finally hit the brakes. No more viral hot takes without accountability. No more roasting guests on national TV without expecting legal heat in return. The circus ran wild for too long, and now the ringleaders are facing subpoenas. Somewhere between dramatic pauses and coffee refills, the View crew forgot one crucial thing. Going live to millions comes with strings, and sometimes lawsuits. This isn't some David versus Goliath remix. It's about a media machine that got far too comfortable throwing shade from a designer couch, assuming there'd never be a bill to pay. But Charlie? He's ripping the velvet curtain wide open. Not to spark a culture war, but to say, enough already. No more echo chambers, no more applause-shielded immunity. He's doing what millions of fed-up viewers have only dreamed of, demanding the loudest voices finally face real-world accountability. Because in a world where clicks crush context and hashtags outshout facts, truth can't be optional. Neither can responsibility. You want to go live and drag someone's name through the mud? Cool. Just don't be shocked when someone finally Answers, see you in court. So next time the theme song plays and the panel takes their seats, maybe skip the popcorn and grab a legal pad.
We kind of humble the audience a little bit. Donald Trump won by less than a point in Wisconsin, about 28,000 votes. He won by a point-ish, 1.2 in Michigan. And then he won by 1 point in Pennsylvania. And so, Megyn, it is conceivable that without this record movement of youth vote, he doesn't win.
Let's be clear. This isn't a fragile tantrum. It's a calculated, brutal power move. Charlie's flipping the script on a show that built its brand on tearing into anyone who disagrees. Now they're the ones being dragged out of their comfort zone. No audience, no edits, just facts and a judge. This isn't cancel culture. This is consequence culture, and it just arrived in court. The irony? Absolute chef's kiss. The View, the self-declared temple of free speech, is now being asked to explain how dragging people live on air counts as journalism. Sunny Hostin might want to dust off that law degree because this lawsuit isn't ego. It's a reckoning with receipts. Cue the panic at ABC. Producers are frantically reviewing transcripts like they're decoding ancient scrolls, trying to pinpoint the exact episode that lit the fuse. Behind the scenes, you can almost hear the whispers. Can we still be spicy without getting sued again? Meanwhile, the hosts are realizing something big. Courtrooms don't come with a laugh track.
Amazing. She's specifically there referring to the women, but of course it's the non-college educated men as well who voted for Donald Trump. And the nerve of this woman to whom the country has given so much to try to dump on people who didn't go to college. Look at you. Look at your achievements. How do you like the so-called uneducated now, son?
Now let's talk about the real product, The View's content. For years, it's been less about insight and more about moral superiority. With a caffeine buzz. Outrage over coffee orders? Check. Heated debates about someone's scarf? Double check. It's been a parade of drama dressed up as dialogue. Every segment designed for one thing, a juicy viral clip. And the formula worked, until now. Because this time, they're not chasing a trending topic. They're facing a legal timeline. That blinking red camera, replaced with cold courtroom lighting, and those monologues, they don't hit the same when the judge's gavel is louder than the studio applause. The View wanted to play judge and jury, until someone brought real legal documents to the set. Suddenly, years of personal digs and smug takedowns, poof, forgotten. Selective amnesia hits hard when the consequences show up in court. They've treated national television like an open mic for character assassination, served between foundation ads and collagen promos. Hot takes without filters. No facts. Just volume. And Kirk didn't show up with a mic. He showed up with court filings. This isn't revenge. It's a strategic checkmate. He didn't just clap back. He filed back.
I think if a liberal came to speak at University of Kentucky, they'd give an open mic like I just did to a conservative and had a discussion like this.
I certainly hope they would.
No, they wouldn't. Because speech is not a left-wing value. That is why they have to deploy shock troops called Antifa to go after everywhere I go. When I go to University of California, Davis next week, there has to be 120 police officers because of the threats, the violent threats of liberals that want me dead, that want to disrupt our events. There are no right-wing hecklers that come to events.
Let's not pretend this is about one conservative guy getting salty. This is a full-on strike at a media empire that's been masquerading as journalism. The View calls itself bold and unfiltered. But behind the glam, it's a hype machine fueled by groupthink and glitter. Charlie's lawsuit doesn't just bruise egos, it shreds illusions. It exposes a system where disagreement is treated like a threat and criticism is met with a shutdown. This isn't just beef with a few hosts. It's a confrontation with a TV institution that forgot the difference between conversation and coordinated outrage. The feathers aren't just ruffled, they're being plucked out by the roots. This isn't some spicy media skirmish. It's a direct challenge to a format built on clout and clicks, one that hides behind applause breaks while bullying anyone who dares to think differently. And that $100 million? It's not a stunt. It's a warning siren, blaring through every I may die studio that treats mockery like journalism. If you're going to treat public figures like punching bags, don't be surprised when one of them punches back, with a lawsuit, not a punchline. Sure, The View's ratings might spike, drama sells, but so does accountability. And this lawsuit, it just brought weight to the eye rolls and gasps. This time there's no fast forward, no teleprompter, Just facts, evidence, and consequences.
Say too much, but we're going to have a lot of fun at the Department of Education. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Can I tell you something? Like, I've had quite a few people contact me about that particular post. Like, I'm sure I have 1/100th of what you're getting, but people are contacting me about cabinet posts. I'm like, I got
look,
nothing.
I mean, I'm actually, after this conversation, heading to Mar-a-Lago for a week. And we have a lot to sift through. And if I could be helpful, I have asked. I want to be actively involved in all things education, as you can imagine.
And then there's Sunny Hostin, the legal mind at the table. Once praised for courtroom expertise, now caught in a real legal firestorm. And let's be honest, this isn't some mock trial where she can drop buzzwords between sips of tea. This is real. Because courtrooms don't care about viral clips or sassy retorts. They care about truth, intent, and damage. And when you build a whole brand on takedowns, don't act shocked when you end up in one. The reckoning isn't coming. It's already here. Let's hit pause and really take in what's happening here. Charlie Kirk, the guy critics love to clown for being loud, is now taking on the loudest talk show on TV. And instead of ducking the spotlight, he's walking straight into the fire, swinging a $100 million legal haymaker at what The View has become, a smug, chaotic circus. Let's be honest, The View hasn't been insightful in years. It's evolved into a daily tantrum in designer outfits. It's not discussion, it's domination. Opinions don't get challenged, they get steamrolled. It's not just biased, it's aggressively biased. Every differing viewpoint gets slapped down with synchronized eye rolls, forced applause, and Sunny's watered-down courtroom cosplay. But this time, it's not another spicy Twitter thread or a viral soundbite. This is real. A legal wake-up call with zero laugh tracks and very real consequences. Sure, critics will scoff. Oh, it's a PR stunt. Just performance. Okay, but if it is a performance, then hand the man an award. Because Charlie's doing what The View never could. He's making noise that actually lands. This lawsuit isn't about vanity. It's a line in the sand that screams, enough. Enough with the mock trials disguised as talk segments. Enough with the echo chamber pretending to be discussion. And supporters of The View, they'll deflect. It's satire. It's just an opinion. It's protected speech. Yeah, sure. But when you repeatedly twist someone's views, mock their character, and drag their name all before the first commercial break, don't expect to hide behind the First Amendment like it's a legal force field. Neutrality? That ship sailed seasons ago. Now they're not just facing reactions, they're facing repercussions. Because this isn't commentary. It's character. Assassination. Dressed up for daytime. And while this lawsuit might not shut the show down, it will force them to finally look in the mirror. Maybe, just maybe, it'll make them think twice before turning real people into punchlines for applause. Maybe it'll remind them, words carry weight. And sometimes that weight lands in court. Because audiences deserve better. Better than 5 people yelling over each other while pretending it's journalism. They deserve real talk, not prepackaged. Outrage, not sarcastic claps, not fake debates with pre-decided outcomes. Just a little clarity, some balance, even a sliver of humility. But instead, The View serves drama like it's the lunch special. And now, thanks to Charlie Kirk, they might finally be held to something more than the applause meter. This lawsuit isn't just a legal strategy, it's a message. A direct challenge to a media culture where snark counts as insight and mockery gets passed off as truth. It says, turn the volume down, start listening, or be ready to answer for the noise you create. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about politics, it's about responsibility, about what happens when media power stops entertaining and starts damaging. And finally, the people who always ask the questions, they're being asked a few of their own. So yeah, go ahead, laugh at the headlines, roll your eyes at the drama, but underneath the chaos, there's something serious. A long overdue reality check on a show that's been spinning out of control for years. Hit that like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one, where the real story always cuts through the noise.